a lot more of that Seer and I don't know, use the word stag there, but you know, that combination of Seer, Valkyrie and the Watson, does that kind of go back to some normality on Storm Point? We'll see. Of course, final game, World's Edge here for this particular series, halfway through, and we'll see if they're going to be, I guess, a continuation of those top three teams, roughly picking up a lot of the points, a lot of the kills. It's kind of updated. 20 kills now from Dreamfire in the two matches, 14 from Dewa, 12 from Buram. The only teams, along with Mop as well, that have picked up sort of double-digit kills from the first two games. So I think we're seeing a good amount of success from teams fighting early, playing edge, pushing, compared to some of the teams that are just bunkering down at the very beginning.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of the big kill totals going their way. And as we get a little bit of ring info coming through, it looks like we're heading south again, Xenox. So Truth Esports trying to get these prowlers done in trials as quickly as they can, because they're going to still have some way to make it further down. It looks like it's looking like a pretty harvester circle, actually, to me, honestly. I think Moist have a chance to play from that tunnel, because that'll be in for quite a while, I would imagine. But PK, who we'll remember last time, you know, picked it pretty well. They got Crusader on the Watson there to fortify one of those lower positions. Probably will be able to do that again and pick up at least a couple of placement points. This time, though, better at dealing with those late pushes when, you know, someone like T4 comes to knock in. They have to be ready for that.
Yeah, and this comes back to the conversation regarding those bunch of compositions. If you are running the Watson, you probably want to be heading towards Harvester sooner rather than later. Try and get a good position in there that you can bunker down with. Use those fences as Dreamfire. No surprise, really, to see them fighting early on. It's basically all they've been doing so far today. Completely wipe out RTL extremely quickly and rather one-sided. I mean, a couple of armor cracks, that was about it. Ems, of course, popping a Phoenix kit there, and Roy did lose some armor, but I mean, it was not really much of a challenge considering they also had good high ground position. But again, Dreamfire early fighting, and it has been their successful key today for them in all three matches now.
It has. You could be forgiven for thinking that they were contesting at Lava Fissure here, because Dreamfire are making this rotation so fast that they're essentially treating RTL as free kills in the POI. And that's one of the things about Countdown, is you get those guaranteed higher level armors from the middle when you press the button and raise the platform, that you don't have to necessarily go around and open every single loot bin to try and get half decent loot. You can guarantee yourself a couple of nice pieces, and then just roll straight over to Lava Fissure.
Early fighting for them compared to match number 2. They didn't have to really do a whole lot of fighting early on. They send out the missile swarm from Jack Cute, who really was the one to kind of lead from the front for them at the end of that last game, but unfortunately had let a couple of teams infiltrate that position, one of them being Moist Esports. Yeah, early fighting here at Harvester, considering there's obviously going to be a lot of teams making their way over to this POI.
Definitely a lot of teams reading that the same way I did. Plenty piling into Harvester, a couple maybe. Like Team Op will stick around in North Siphon, or even sort of in the, or even across the ditch there in Budget Siphon. Dreamfire actually made their way into Skyhook. They were trying to track down Truth Esports, but they did manage to get out in time, and we've got our ramp-up player Kizix here. The ultimate setup defenses and the amped cover.
You have that cover, you have that defensive positioning, but does it really set you up for a successful game? Does it really put you in a position where you're going to be able to get kill points? And obviously, it's going to put you in a position to live, to survive, to get towards the end game. If it does that well, then you can push out, play off of that. But you look at the stark contrast to a team like Dreamfire, running a Bangalore, fighting early, pushing teams, getting kill points, compared to the Rampart where you're just sitting in a corner. Obviously, you know Harvester's going to get fed here a couple circles in a row, and you are not going to have to move, understandably, but it doesn't really set you up for like a massive, massive point game.
I mean, T4 that we're looking at here, they're someone who, you know, doesn't typically get huge point games. They also like to just sit middle circle and rotate very fast and hope that that sort of goes their way. I think, what was it, the first match today that they won was probably one of their bigger totals that they've ever had in Pro League with a swag of kills and a first place as well. You know, when we've seen them win games, say out in Geyser, it's been, I think, with maybe like 3 or 4 kills in their hands and less so on that big side.
Yeah, I think it was 8-kill win in the last match for T4. Obviously had to fight their way to that as well, considering Daewoo United were really beating down the lobby towards the end of that last game in match 2. Sense? Not. Yuling. MDY had a very good match 1, but didn't see really much of them at all in match number 2. It's a good start for them though to pick up the early kill onto Sense. SRY seeing little bits of them without being really too overly involved. Obviously had that big third party attempt earlier in the last match, but not much really came from it.
Oh, this is that middle tunnel I was talking about that I was thinking perhaps Moist could play from. They've actually gone from the one a little bit north of that gives you slightly better access to Harvester, so understandable there. SRY. Trying to hold people off with only the 2 though. It's a scout going up against a 2-4 charge rifle, so same sights at the very least.
And fortunately for both of these two teams, can take Scrap can take the fight right now, firmly inside of this circle. Not really too far away either from Harvester in this position, so it's not a matter of urgency for either team. MDY though starting to feel like they can maybe push in here, access the crate of Sense. Let's see what they can grab. Why not? See for SRY, they will just skyward dive out of here for what's left of them.
They're going back down south. They don't have the banner, so you can say it's just timed out. Meanwhile, they might actually come across the duo of Stinky B, who are trying to run away from Emmanuel down at launch site. On the opposite side of the map, of course, you've got Dreamfire also bearing down upon Daewoo, who have not found a good position here. Though, that said, they've got themselves inside a trailer right now. Easy Flash has just popped an ultimate accelerant, so that pylon is available. And Daewoo... Oh, actually going to pop the Sierra ultimate as well. So they're taking this threat seriously, Xenox.
Yeah.
As you should.
Daewoo United have been on their game so far today as well, so I don't really mind this at all. Triple blue armor, not ideal. Ideally, they'd like to get some shots onto Dreamfire, start building up that Evo. But sometimes defense just has to come first. Does pay dividends. And keeps Dreamfire at bay.
Okay, our pace has slowed down a little bit here. 19 squads still alive with the second ring almost coming to a close. I think that's not from a lack of trying from a couple of these teams, right? But some of them have just made good escapes. SRY with the Val called out, Stinky B. Unfortunately, one of them did get caught out, and Hizzy is still up alive, as you can see there in Lava Siphon, just consistently trying to use his heartbeat sensor to see if he can go back and get the banner, but he can't. Emmanuel finally grabbing that kill are still on top of it. So, not a lot of squads taken out just yet. It was only RTL going down at the hands of Dreamfire immediately. Maybe teams are sort of taking their cues from last game about what might be available, where teams like to play when we head over towards Harvester, and planned a little bit better here in Game 3 than in Game 2.
And the other factor as well, it's not really just Harvester, right? You got all of Lava Siphon still in as well. And while it might not be the vocal point, it might be where we're going to finish off, it is still something to consider. You're getting knocked here. Bojack going out from A-Flow, and the success found with it. Emmanuel, again, similar to the first 2 matches, just finding themselves on the back foot in these fights. They're able to get off to a good start. A-Flow again landing with the Bojack. throws out some utility as well. Did get the knock onto SA for DNZ, so at least AFLO able to put the Pojek to good use. Give Emmanuel a fighting chance here. SA straight away back up, and DNZ can really get aggressive off this now.
Yeah, surely in the 3v2, this is a fight win for DNZ. There we go. They'll close it out here, and they're very much close enough to the circle that they've got time to grab that loot as well. SA just making sure he pops the med kit first, just to be safe. Dreamfire actually ended up rotating all the way around, so they didn't take that fight with Dewa. In the end, didn't want to force the issue inside that caravan, so they'll go back around to the vault tunnel. Just as an update on the north side of the ring.
Have been spotted though by Buriram United. In fact, you can actually see it in the kill feed as well. Ams does get the knock on to Jack Q. So,
Rolling Thunder going out, EMP committed, lots of stuff happening in this fight, Xenox.
But this is big. This is exactly what Dreamfire has already been able to show today, earlier in match 1. Teams that are gatekeeping them, teams that are camping them, they can still just push on, and that's where the Bangalore really helps. That smoke blocking that vision. So that's twice now today. Match 1, now match 3. But there's been a lot of success, courtesy of that Bangalore from Dreamfire, pushing out of a position where they're getting camped. Doesn't matter. They're the aggressors in the end, and there's a lot more going on here now with MDY.
Yep, look at that. MDY, I believe they just took out Hermagerd for this position, but now PK, the original members that land in Harvester here are coming in for the third party. They need to get through this. 505 now looking at them from above, so they have to push in. We'll get past the Watson fences. Do MDY survive any longer? The Crypto's gone down. The Valkyrie and the Seer have made it out to the higher ground.
Over to 20 guaranteed. Not quite inside of the next circle. Feeling the pinch here from ADL. All pushing in here as well. Trent still down. It's only Radicates. They're trying to fight and survive. Cannot survive for long with Shia K in that position. 20th guaranteed. Go on in 17th. Not a bad fight in the end at all for Mop. I'll take the win. I'll take the kills. They do have to push forward though into ADL from here.
You can see there's still 3 teams over here in Budget Siphon. Decent place to play from because you can just wait for the ring to pull in and just, you know, pull the trigger on that Skyward Dive later and hope. It's a bit of a risky play, but certainly one that a couple of teams are willing to play, especially when you know that you got a chance like ADL here do, where some of the buildings are in, some of the buildings are out, and they will get a chance to potentially have some KP on DNZ or Team Op.
The Billy. And this is where you've got to take this fight now with ADL. Unless you can try and push forward beyond them. You have the Wraith available. Oh, never mind. As spoken, gets knocked down. We'll be able to get revived though. Potentially not though. The pressure, the Arcstars utility. ADL might just push off of this, and they certainly do. The Wraith is gone. Only 2 up. Team Mop. Yakai and Billy still alive. Only blue armor as well. Not ideal when trying to take this fight. ADL aggressive with their utility. Not pushing though with their position. They're not pushing out here.
Taking their time, that's for sure. They don't have to push out, but if they really want those KP, it seems like it's a good time to do it. You can see no shields left on Team Op right now. Surely if they're calling Flesh, they want to get out here and finish this fight off, especially with DNZ, the team to the bottom. They've gone well south. They're not going to have to worry about that third party. ADL, all 3 of them still up and around, so Zhao Kai easily finished off in the end.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much expected that considering the position that ADL had, and unfortunately for Team Malt, they had to push right into that. Could have elected to push down to the south. There was already other teams there. Those other teams being DNZ and Ant. Also technically moist in and around this position as well. Erlen does well to get the knock at the Ant feeling the pressure here, trying to just fall back into the tunnel, run away, but that would only be a short-term reprieve as well. In terms of long-term, that zone's pushing in. Both of these teams need to push out of this tunnel.
Got to get out of here sometime in the next minute. Ant Esports will lose the fight. We do have an important fight happening up the top as well, actually, with True Esports versus Dewa. Those guys are doing battle for what could be a bit of a god spot up the top there, and Truth are actually going to win that one out pretty comfortably in the end. DNZ have to make their way out from down the bottom. You can see Yanley's actually just ratting there by himself for SRY.
We should maneuver to that area.
It looks like T4 may once again have picked the ring. These guys looking pretty damn good at doing that lately. Xenox there inside the northern snake of Harvester, the northeastern snake. And I think, considering the Lav's in the middle of this circle, I feel like there's a good chance it might finish up at the top of that. ADL Wolves here. Another fight.
Yeah. Obviously, they just pushed straight into Ath, and Ath were well set up for this. Fortunately, not enough, though, to win that fight. And ADL go from winning one fight where they were essentially the gatekeepers, now one where they're the aggressors. So showing both forms of their versatility. Unfortunately, lost two, and only Legacy's left. He now feels the pressure from MDY. They'll take this spot. Technically now being also still protected by those rampant shields as well. 9 squads remaining. Not really many that are outside of this harvesting position. DNZ, Moist. You got a solo as well for SRY. That's about it. Everyone else. The T4 eliminated in that state position. Too much pressure, too many teams in and around that area. DNZ, the northern side of the Harvester, trying to just gatekeep Dreamfire.
Doing a half-decent job of it, but the fight is turning. Dreamfire now get the better of them. That said, Heat's been knocked. He's got his knockdown shield to try and shield him from a couple of these grenades. Can't do it for long enough. They will put him in a box. Not sure if Dreamfire have any mobile respawn beacons available to them. If they could get one out in the next 50 seconds, they may be able to get Pete back into the fight. There's no one really watching his box that closely right now, and they do have a bit of space to themselves as well. So it's possible. I'll say that much. MDY picking up that Kraber we saw just before. I was really hoping when Legacy was alone there by himself, he was just going to start popping out, one-shot headshots with the Kraber through the amp cover and doing like 250 damage or something. But that was perhaps a little bit too extreme of a dream. Moist Esports, they come from that the lower cut through and make their way to the southern side of that lava river that we're rotating around right now. It's a good spot. You can see they've got a lot of space to themselves as long as they don't start taking too many angles from the teams pushing out from Harvest.
Yeah, interesting similarities as well to match 2 again for Moist, where they're kind of on the outskirts. They're on the outside. They've got teams in and around Harvester looking to want to push their way out.
Oh,
too well for Moist last time, and yeah, they're actually going to change up their position entirely. They skyward dive over towards the northern side. They've got some intel that they want to play off of, and they move away from the south. They move up to the north.
Oh,
teams
no.
behind them, and Empty immediately sniped down. It's not what they were hoping for. Perfect for MDY though, who are starting to feel the pressure from above.
Oh, they might get the res off though. MDY are a duo. They don't really have angles to confirm the kill, so MT is good. He's back up. And in the meanwhile, they actually get positioned in the north of the snake here. This is fantastic. T4, where did T4 go? I didn't actually catch how they've given up this northern snake here, but oh well. Either way, it's going to be a very good position for them to hold. Meanwhile, Truth Esports there trying to deal with 505 down the bottom. They get that done. And there's still a duo and a solo alive around them.
Yeah, I mean, that's really a bit of a common occurrence at the moment in this lobby. A lot of wounded teams, a lot of wounded players running around. Solos, duos. Obviously for MDY, considering they've been a duo for quite a while, been able to play this position well. Use those death crates to their advantage. Get those armors out as well, so they can just quickly change up. They are taking some damage. They've played this position so well. Gets them to the top 4.
It does. Moist with that reset are looking fantastic now. Not only do they have safe passage essentially through to the middle of this final circle, they're probably... I think they're likely to meet Truth there, because Truth have also got 3 members alive, and then you've got Dreamfire as a duo and MDY as a duo. They're both in the middle right now, and I would expect them to get crunched by these other trios, and then we might have a final 3v3. But not if the other teams start working together.
Big game brewing potentially again for Dreamfire. Fortunately for Bryce, he just falls down. Ems and Roy left.
How has this happened?
I don't quite understand again, but it's the Bangalore day, Genome. It's worked well. Matches 1 and now 3. Match 2 was a little bit more quiet from Dreamfire, but good high ground position. Top 3. Still 2 players alive.
Just some sneaky shots coming through from Dreamfire, opening the doors at the right time. The car does enough damage. Moist Esports completely out and seemingly have gifted this one to Truth, unless Dreamfire can pull off more heroics as a Duo 3 final. Squads now with the ring closing. MDY still up and around. Kraber shots, still a couple left for QQ.
MDY have just been spending the last 3-4 minutes just basically hot dropping these shields like potatoes.
Oh. So many armor swaps available. There's like, I think 6 down there or something for MDY right now. So if anyone actually pops down there, MDY can take a lot of punishment before they're going to be out of contention.
Start throwing their way though to just try and keep them at bay so that potentially Truth can push out. Truth have got themselves into this pinched position with Dreamfire and MDY. Yuling goes down. QQ left. He's trying to armor swap and try and stay alive. He's picked up 2 or 3 and he's done well to manage and stay alive for that long, but eventually falls. Dreamfire with better factors of that one. Truth though from above, they've got the numbers advantage, the high ground advantage as well. Should very much be able to clean this one up rather comfortably. Ooh, don't think there's a whole lot that Dreamfire can realistically do from this low ground position.
No way!
Same with Roy as well, surely not. Oh, Dreamfire have only just gone and done it. From a low ground position, outnumbered and outgunned, they still just come away as the champions.
Roy, you monster! In a 2v3, they take out Moist.